On average, you'll have to wait 31 days to see an OBGYN. And if you're dealing with an infection or outbreak, you know you need care fast. That's where WISP comes in. Connect with a U.S. licensed provider online and pick up safe, effective treatment at your local pharmacy that same day. Plus, get birth control and more delivered in all 50 states. Take control with comprehensive sexual and reproductive care, all from your phone. WISP. That's hellowisp.com. The waiting room can wait.
Welcome to the RuPaul's Drag Race Recap Show for All Stars 10, Episode 10, titled Tournament of All Stars Snatch Game. My name is Joe Batanz, and I am joined, as always, by one snatched co-host from the podcast Pod Is My Co-Pilot. Please say...
Everybody check your credit after this.
to Mr. Taylor, the Latte Boy. Hello, Taylor.
Hello, Joe. What do you know?
Apparently not much. I keep making the same mistakes that I make all the time. As we learned on this latest episode of Just Between Us Girls, very long episode. In fact, I'm going to tell you exactly the length of it. It was 38 minutes and 20 seconds, and we have a bet which episode will be longer. Will it be Just Between Us Girls, or will it be this episode? And you can listen to Just Between Us Girls in a couple of ways. One, if you're on Apple Podcasts, as you currently are, you could just scroll right up, hit subscribe right there on the main page of our show, and $6.45 a month you get Just Between Us Girls, and you get this show recap uncut, no commercials, and at the same time as everyone on Patreon. So go ahead and do that right there. And then of course there's Patreon and patreon.com/afterthoughtmedia. You can use the app, you can use the website, all kinds of fun things going on. But if we're gonna make this shorter than 38 minutes and 20 seconds, I can't spend too much on it. You know how it is. I've been doing this for weeks, since the beginning of the year. You know what's happening on Patreon. Exciting things are happening on Patreon. So go over and check that out now. All right. This week. It's so funny.
Shut off.
Yeah. This week, the 9 semifinalists reunite, ready to compete for the crown. For this week's Maxi Challenge, the girls will play the Snatch Game. And on the runway, the category is Tear a Me Suit, where the girls have to wear a suit and then tear it away to reveal a gown. On the main stage, Ginger Minj was named the winner of this week's challenge, while Mistress Isabel Brooks and Cynthia Lee Fontaine were placed in the bottom two. After a lip-sync battle for their lives, Mistress lived to see another day, while Cynthia Lee Fontaine was asked to sashay away. Taylor the Latte Boy, here's the first set of questions. Were the right two queens in the bottom, and did the right queen win the lip sync? I don't know why. Did we ever do this before? Did the right queen win the challenge as well? Throw that in the mix.
I think whether it was sort of we were spoon-fed that we were supposed to think Ginger was the best or not, I do think Ginger was the funniest. She seemed to be the quickest on her feet with a lot of things. So, yeah, I do think that she deserved to win. Watching it with a group of about a dozen guys, everybody sort of was in agreement for that. And as far as the bottom two, I think an argument could be made for Aja to have been to take in Cynthia's place with that, primarily with the argument that they were saying of it was so bad it was good. It was almost good kind of thing. But ultimately, there wasn't a shocker there that those two were in the bottom two. And between the two of them, I would say Cynthia, while she was giving it everything she could, her cuckoo just couldn't keep up. And I think that Mistress was the better of the two performances of that song. So yeah, I think the right queen went home.
Let's talk about who should have won. Yeah, it wasn't a very good Snatch Game.
No, it was a very mid Snatch Game.
100%. So was Ginger the best? That's the thing is now, and that's the sort of weird predicament you get in with Drag Race, where you get these circumstances like Ginger, where she's a 3-time winner of Snatch Game, But the truth is, like, are you though? Like at least two of those well, the first one she was legitimately like in a tougher Snatch Game, but All-Star 6, you know.
Well, okay, who did she
one?
tie with in 7? Because she said I tied for winner.
Walter Mondale. He was on season 7 of Drag Race.
He was on season 7.
A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know that. And I think he played Ruth Buzzy.
A name the majority of people that are listening to this will have no idea who you're talking about.
But here's the deal. If someone were to do Ruth Buzzy, RuPaul would live and they would do very well.
Yes.
That's the thing. And this is the lesson in today's Snatch Game. I can scream it as the sky is blue or something. I don't know what the word is until whatever happens. I don't know.
Kennedy Davenport was the co-winner as Little Richard.
Yeah.
Shut up. Woo!
Yeah. So, but yeah, I guess she won. I mean, I couldn't tell you a single Reba McEntire line.
Well, she started off with a single mom who works 2 jobs. That was
fine. But then there was like, and then they were, I don't know. It was a very phoned in performance. So we'll go with that. Right, 2 queens in the bottom. Yeah, Mistress Isabel Brooks should have been there. Yeah, I agree. I think I agree. Aja should have been there as well. Because the lesson is don't do fucking people that RuPaul doesn't know who they are.
Yep. She basically said that right to her face during the table reads. Don't do it. I don't know who you're talking about.
And you would think this batch of queens who are so experienced would know that. What's funny is the new one, Lydia B. Collins, 100% did it right.
Right.
She did this Pete Burns. Great choice to make.
Choice to make.
Even to go with someone who's obscure, but they made a good choice because of RuPaul. Bosco doing Kenny Kerr. Wait, we're talking about we're talking about Snatch Game. I'm breaking my own rules here. But the point is, but Cynthia Lee Fontaine was always gonna go home.
Right.
You know, it was like she was like the black girl in The Bachelor. You know,
wow.
You know what I'm talking about. Though, right?
I know what you're talking about, but that was, yeah, I know.
There's always the black girl in The Bachelor is going to make it past 1 or 2 episodes, and then the first chance that they get to send her home, they do. It's just the way The Bachelor works. And did the right queen win the lip sync? Look, I'm going to tell you something. My thoughts on the lip sync right here. That's what we do here. One, this Mistress Isabel Brooks multiple times did the chin wiggle.
Right.
I am so drag queens. Listen. We are done. We've had it. Officially, to quote the person who did the chin wiggle, with the chin wiggle.
Chin wiggles and their ilk.
Yeah.
No more.
And their ilk. No more. It's up there, which is funny because they did it in this episode too. I'm done with, I can't wait to see how this turns out. We're done with them.
Yes.
Why didn't they? Now, maybe there's some sort of, I don't see why though. There must be some reason why they did this horrible remix of Who's Zooming Who.
I think it was a way to maybe kind of have a spoken word lip sync without it being a spoken, that's the only reason I could think of, because I kept thinking that it was sort of a remix that eventually you would start to hear the beat. Did it say a cappella version or dub version? I
don't know.
Oh, see, I just saw Who's Zooming Who, and it was an odd choice for a lip sync.
I was waiting, like you, I was waiting for the beat to drop, and then like, oh, okay, then we're going to really get into this song. It is a song that would be a good lip sync for your life song.
It would be a good lip sync song.
So it just felt like it was all build up and then just ended. It was very strange. It was very, very strange. And I don't think either one of them won, but they had to get rid of, you can't get rid of Mistress, who we will talk about a lot today. And you had to get rid of Cynthia because she just didn't belong there.
That was when they announced when they announced who the bottom two were, everybody before the song even started said, well, Cynthia's going home.
Yeah.
So like, it's not just something where you and I dissect this and think that we have, cracked the code. Everybody has cracked the code at this point. They're not going to send Mistress home.
Yeah, not at this stage. But what's funny is, and we'll talk about this after the break, I don't think she's going to really bring much of this season out now that the way it's changed. But we'll talk about that right after the break. We'll be back right after this.
Breaking up is never easy, but saying goodbye to your old clunky work tools? Well, that's easy. Just repeat after me. It's not me, it's definitely you. You rigid, unfriendly software. It's time to freshen things up with Monday.com, the first work platform you'll love to use. With stunning dashboards, customizable templates, and built-in AI that actually works, switching to a new work platform has never felt this good. So move on to Monday.com.
Mochi Health is a long-term weight loss solution personalized to fit your unique needs and goals. Meet one-on-one with board-certified obesity doctors and registered dietitians who are on a mission to listen. Eligible patients can access custom-formulated GLP-1 medications at an affordable, set price and get them delivered to their home each month. No insurance required, FSA and HSA accepted. With 24/7 customer service available, Mochi Health is here to partner with you on your journey to a healthier life. Take the free quiz at joinmochi.com and use code AUDIO40 at checkout for $40 off your first month of membership. That's joinmochi.com.
What does every USAA member have in common? Family. We're one big family who supports the military community and their eligible families. And if you, your parent, or spouse served, you could join our family and save big on auto insurance. Visit USAA.com/join today to check your eligibility. Membership eligibility and product restrictions apply and are subject to change. USAA means United Services Automobile Association and its affiliates, San Antonio, Texas.
And we are back. All right, Taylor the Latte Boy, what was your big takeaway from this episode?
Well, you actually already kind of said my big takeaway in that if no one else for future seasons of this show, however many more it's on, whether it's All Stars or the regular season, learn anything from this, it is stop doing reality stars. Stop doing YouTube celebrities. I understand that you are trying to speak to the larger audience and that you're trying to connect with them. In that moment with a Snatch Game, there was only one person you are trying to connect with. And you have to, you are putting yourself at a handicap by not even starting with somebody that she has even an inkling of a caricature of who you're talking about. You know, when Irene said she was going to do Zsa Zsa Gabor, Rue said, she goes, I can't believe no one's ever done that before. She goes, that's a great choice, which meant Rue immediately knew what she was going to be doing, that she knew there was going to be a connection there. And it gave Irene, now it could also scare you a little bit when, like, similar to, season 6 with Bianca doing Judge Judy. And she goes, I love Judge Judy. That's my favorite show. You're putting yourself in a disadvantage at that point when you are doing, Cookie Tookie, who we all went, who? Like, none of us knew who that was, or the other one from Bad Girls Club, a show that hasn't been on in, to the best of my knowledge, years. Mm-hmm. You are doing such a disadvantage to yourself. That was really my one takeaway. I have a question for you, but I want to save it for final thoughts at the end.
When I was in junior high, this is even my big takeaway. I'm responding to yours. When I was in junior high, 7th and 8th graders got to participate in something called the lip sync. It was a lip sync contest. I don't remember what the name was. Mm-hmm. And the only rule was it had to be from like the 50s or 60s.
Okay.
Because when I was in junior high, that's where the music that our parents listened to, right?
Mm-hmm.
And every douchey kid, they were really focused on doing like a really cool number that all their friends would think is cool. So they would do like Born to Be Wild, or like, and then but these like some where they're just a band just playing. They would be really and look, and he's like, and all the girls would scream when the cute boy had his solo on the guitar and stuff like that,
Yeah.
And Adam De La Pena and I, in 7th grade, blew everyone the fuck away because we did the Blues Brothers doing a 50s blues number called Rubber Biscuit.
Okay.
Won the whole thing. Audience
Nice.
went wild, right? The next year, they let us do not 50s and 60s. Now we could do any songs.
Okay.
And now the girls are doing Paula Abdul, and the boys are doing, I don't know, Belle Biv DeVoe. I don't know what they were doing, right?
New Kids on the Block.
New Kids on the Block, I think, was done. They're like, say, Adam De La Pena and I, we did a Weird Al Yankovic. Actually, it's actually a Weird Al Yankovic original song, but it is done in a 1950s style called One More Minute. Okay.
Okay.
We went for laughs again. Won the whole fucking thing.
Okay.
Right? Because even as fucking junior high kids, we knew our audience. It wasn't about the kids in our class.
Right.
It was about the adults who made the decision.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And you would think that these drag queens would get that. And they don't.
Most of them did.
I once again will say this. And I know I'm speaking out of both sides of my mouth. Because one side says, if you're a drag queen who's been on the show, is on the show, plans to be on the show, ever been on the show, don't listen to this show. It's not for you. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I still hold to that. But if you're still a dummy and you're still listening, or maybe you listen, but you know somebody who's going to be on the show and be on Snatch Game.
Yeah.
For free. And I'm volunteering Lori here too. For free. And we won't tell anybody. Lori and I will coach you on how to do Snatch Game. We'll coach you for free. We won't charge money and we'll never talk about it. Well, I can't speak for Lori. She's a big fucking mouth. But I will never talk about it. And I will say that Lori's lying if she says that we did. Okay? I'll tell her she's mistaken. These people need to talk to somebody, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because how is Ash, who's been on All Stars, this is her second time on All Stars.
Yeah.
Third time on the show. How is she still making these mistakes? Okay. My big takeaway. It was very interesting to see, and I might have two takeaways.
Okay.
Yeah, because I had this big takeaway planned, and then I had a very interesting conversation with my child before we came on the air. It was very interesting to see that once they took away the points and everything like that, how Mistress. Okay, remember at the end of Superman 2?
Mm-hmm.
So at the Superman 2, there's this whole thing where like Superman can remove his powers if he meets somebody he loves, and so he does so that he can marry Lois Lane or something like that. It's a very whole thing. But then at the very end, the villains, General Zod and Ursa and Blue.
I can't remember.
He had a weird name like that, right? They've cornered Superman. Right? Mm-hmm. And Lex Luthor tells them in the Fortress of Solitude, if Superman goes in this chamber, it will remove him of all his powers, right?
Right.
So they put Superman in the chamber and they turn it on, but Superman has done a double cross. He realizes it might happen and he's made it so it's reversed, that anybody outside the chamber will have their powers removed. So when he comes out, the villain's powers, unbeknownst to them, have been removed, and then he just like throws them off a cliff into nothingness, right? So
Lois Lane becomes a murderer at that point.
Lois Lane goes like, "You're a real pain in the neck," and then she socks Ursa and like she. So.
Which is one of those things that I didn't realize till about 2 years ago when I saw that scene, and I'm just like, she kills her.
Yeah.
They killed the three of them.
Yeah, three of them completely. I think the big dumb one is just like I think he just falls. He's like,
He just like starts to
falls.
fly and then realizes he can't fly and then just falls.
Yeah, and then Zod, Superman like crushes his hand and then lifts him up, and the music goes dun 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 dun.
Dun.
Yeah, because he goes, and now. The son of Jor-El will finally kneel before Zod, and then it's a very good moment actually.
It's really, of the Superman movies, it's the best one.
Yeah. So anyway, so this is what it was like, because with the point system gone, Mistress was trying to do her tricks. And it just wasn't working. It wasn't working for a couple of reasons. One, there's no points. There's nothing to steal. There's nothing. She's now powerless. She's now equally as powerless as the rest of them. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then two is, in her original bracket, she was taking advantage of drag queens who, in terms of this competition, are not very sure of themselves. They may be sure of themselves as drag queens, but in terms of this competition, aren't very sure of themselves. And she was taking advantage of that. But the other queens in this competition are very confident. They're not going to put up with her bullshit, right? She can do all the spells she wants. It doesn't do anything to them. It doesn't affect them. The most that she's getting is an eye roll. You know, it's like it's dumb, you know? And so it's really, what's sad is it's really exposing her flaws and her weaknesses, and it's making her look weaker, actually, and lamer than usual.
I had a, well, we could definitely talk about that in relation to her relationship with Ginger is definitely that. But I had an image kind of flash in my head of a meme that is, there's an Australian comedian that I guess did like a comedic docuseries or something where he played a bunch of characters at a school, and one of which is a private school girl that's like 15 and she's a real bitch. Her name is Jamie.
Yes, I've heard about her recently. Someone told me I should watch this show, and it was in relation to something that I liked, and they were like, oh, then you would really like this.
Well, there's a meme, and she's the mean girl. It's this grown man playing this like mean girl in this thing. And there's a meme of where she's talking with friends and she goes, oh my God, I'm so random. I can't believe I just did that. That's Mistress.
Yeah.
That's Mistress Isabel Brooks when she does things where we're all supposed to be like, can you believe I just said that? Can you believe that I'm trying to start this shit? I'm such an agent of chaos. Real agents of chaos don't realize. Lori is an example of somebody who doesn't realize she's an agent of chaos. Yeah. So there was definitely, I think, a neutering, as you're saying, of Mistress this episode that we didn't necessarily see, because it is now a real even playing field. At least starting out, it is, in theory, a real even playing field. I agree 100%. I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah, it's one of these things where, like, it's kind of like, even this metaphor doesn't work exactly, but I think it does come in within shooting range of, like, the kid who's In fact, she even calls herself the HBIC, right? But the kid who's like in 8th grade, a big deal. And now she goes to high school and she's a freshman. And that just doesn't, you were a big fish in a small pond.
Right.
Now you're just a fish in the pond.
Yeah.
And the rules have changed.
And you're also at even more of a disadvantage because the last time that she was someplace where it was truly, there wasn't this point system and everything. It was season 14. Is that 14, 15, whenever she was on. And nobody really knew who she was. They all basically talk about it when they all walk in, that nobody's going to trust her, and everybody is just like, you know, she's a shit stirrer. She's always trying to create problems. She's always trying to create drama. They don't have time for that this time. That everybody can kind of see it coming from a mile away, so they're not allowing themselves to get as emotionally, you know, enraged by what she's doing. It's sort of like, okay, yeah, we get it. Okay, you're over there saying things that aren't true. Yeah, whatever. And
I'm sure in the 8 months, all the girls heard about it too. We don't find this illusion.
Sure. I am sure that, you know, between Nicole and Carrie and whoever else was there at that time, who was the other person?
Isn't it Nicole Page Brooks?
Oh, and Tina Burner. Tina Burner, Nicole Page Brooks, and Carrie. I'm sure that they reached out to everybody and said, this is what they did. This is what she did.
Yeah.
Because even then, it's like the other two, Georges and Lydia, seem to know to kind of keep their mouths shut this episode.
Yeah. Mistress is looking really lame. It's very, very lame. There's another thing I want to say, but we'll save it for the show. It might come up during maybe the runway, believe it or not. I think also has put Mistress... basically, the headline is, I think, and this will come up at some point, for both Ginger and Mistress, losing weight has been a disadvantage in some ways. But we'll talk about that. But for now, why don't we say goodbye to everybody in the public feed while you untuck in the Taylor Latte Boy Lounge. Taylor and I will deliberate the rest of the episode. All right. Well, now it's time for the runway. Because it was my birthday, I did not do the usual lengthy preparation for the looks that we do every week. And so I'm just going to let Taylor discuss the looks in a very casual, conversational way. I don't think we don't have anything officially written for them.
Okay.
But the category was Tara Me Suit, and it was the girls would walk out in some sort of like bulky suit and then tear it off, and there'd be some sort of glamorous outfit underneath, in theory. You got any thoughts here?
Do you want me to go down the line or just ones that kind of stand up? All right, so I know the first one was Georges. We all oohed when she came out. We thought that the red suit in particular with the horns and everything, it was a sexy look. The tearaway to the dress was also really sexy, but there was something about her in the suit with the braids and everything that I really, really liked that. I'm trying to remember who the next one is that came out. Do you have a list, or we're just kind of talking?
I do have a list.
Off our head?
I do have a list.
Okay.
I do have that on the list. Came out what order? Next the first one out was Bosco. So you have no thoughts on Bosco?
Oh, Bosco had the asymmetrical hair and sort of was wearing like the little Lord Fauntleroy outfit with that was a okay look. Apparently it wasn't very memorable because I didn't remember what it was until you prompted me by saying the name.
After Georges, we had Diabetti.
Diabetti came out in the workout outfit and then had the sweat stains, including the sweaty bedazzled vagina. It was okay. It was kind of gross, really, when you sort of think about it.
Cynthia Lee Fontaine.
Poor Cynthia Lee Fontaine her trying to do the tiramisu and rip it away. I mean, obviously execution is something that Cynthia sometimes has issues with, and it definitely showed here. We all kind of like, oh, when she was trying to rip the suit off, we all sort of felt bad for her in that moment.
Irene the Alien.
Irene came out with the mask, and then where she looked sort of like Batboy at the end, where she took off the outfit and she had on like the latex bat. It was pretty cool. I liked the idea of the mask, and then sort of pulled the mask off. to reveal that she had the creepy black, fully black eyes. But I thought it was a very cool look. It's something that I expected from her, having seen her in bracket 1, the kind of looks that she brought with her in that bracket. She definitely kept up that standard.
Aja
came out in the cocoon outfit that sort of revealed itself to be a butterfly dress at the end. I thought it was pretty. They went on and on about this dress, about how gorgeous she looked, and it was okay. I mean, she looked pretty in it, but it wasn't. The dress, I think, is probably what saved her from the lip sync. The way they went on and on about it, I think that's what they were trying to show us. That's why she didn't have to lip sync this week.
Lydia B. Collins.
Lydia B. Collins came out in a very structured black and like light blue or like teal blue suit that then opened up. The pants went away, and then there was a skirt underneath. I thought the first part of it, the suit, looked amazing. I wasn't necessarily a huge fan of the dress. I don't get why Carson was going on and on about the fact that it needed to be steamed. If it was a silk or a satin dress that was going to be all bunched up in the pants, it was never going to stay completely wrinkle-free. But I mean, it was an okay look. I liked her hair. I thought her hair was pretty cool.
Ginger Minge.
Ginger is the one that came out in the big zoot suit looking thing that tore it away to have a wedding dress on underneath. I thought it was okay. I mean, the structured, I get sort of what they're saying as far as the structure, and the fact that she was clearly holding it in the back sort of took away from the idea of it. But I thought as the dress went, I thought it was a pretty cool, she looked nice in it. And I find it interesting that she's saying that, it's time for Ginger to be sexy. So she's trying to show more leg and that kind of thing. So I wonder what other looks that she may have down the pike.
And then finally we have Mistress Isabel Brooks.
I don't remember what Mistress wore.
I think she wore like a fake spray painted on like bikini.
Oh, like the nude suit, and then she had the dress on underneath. The reveal was pretty, but the suit, as far as like a fat suit goes, was not good. It was not well constructed. Like it's supposed to be where it's like a nude suit, but then you can see where there's like white sections like under like where the stomach is, and it just sort of looked very Halloween costumey to me. The second dress was pretty, but I also, when she brought down the skirt to where it was supposed to be covering her legs, as it covered her legs, she still had like the fat suit legs on.
Yeah.
So it just like, that was I wish there was a way that she could have done it to where she could have had more shapely legs, because it sort of looked like, fat girl legs, for lack of a better term. And it sort of, that's not a good, final image you want of that first look.
All right, very good. And those are the looks.
Woohoo.
Woo. Okay, now it's time, Taylor, to bring back my girls. All right, on the main stage, Bosco, Diabetti, and Irene the Alien were safe. Meanwhile, Georges and Ginger Minge were in the top. Later, Ginger Minge was named the winner of the challenge. This left Lydia B. Collins, Cynthia Lee Fontaine, Mistress Isabel Brooks, and Aja in the bottom. After all was said and done, Mistress Isabel Brooks and Cynthia Lee Fontaine were in the bottom two, forcing them to face off in a lip-sync battle for their lives. The song Who's Zooming Who by Aretha Franklin. In the end, Mistress Isabel Brooks was told Shantae, you stay, while Cynthia Lee Fontaine was asked to sashay away. Taylor the Latte Boy, any final thoughts on the episode?
This is more a general question that I wanted to ask you. I thought of it the other night and then just kept saying, I have to remember to ask Joe this on the show. Do you think that they are Drag Race, the brand, is doing themselves a disservice by this new format? And here's what I mean by that. Generally, people have been talking about the fact that they have been enjoying this format They have been enjoying the shorter segments of girls. Like, but you're getting 4 little seasons throughout the course of this 12 episode season.
Yeah.
One of the things that you will often hear, or at least we talk about on here, is that there are times that the regular seasons seem to go on forever, where it just feels like you get tired of seeing some of the girls week after week after week after week. So we're going to go from the season that everybody has enjoyed the brevity, the little bursts of seasons, to when Drag Race comes back in, I'm assuming January, that you're then going to go back to this 16 weeks of the same girls. And if it's doing it this way is going to actually hurt the main seasons in some ways. What are your thoughts?
I don't think that would be the problem. I think people would like for All Stars to be like this, and they wouldn't mind the other season because they don't know the other girls. I think, look, I'm always going to want shorter seasons. I'm always going to want shorter episodes. I think that helps the show. But ultimately, I don't think people have a problem with the format or how long it's feeling or anything. I know you're saying that they're liking this format. I think, and it's funny that you're bringing this subject up, because even though it's not what my child brought up with me earlier today, it's still in the same wheelhouse. Because the reason remember I said I had 2 takeaways. The other takeaway was right before we went on the air, he and I were talking, and we were just texting, so we haven't had a proper conversation about this. But, he's straight, but myself, one of the important people in his life, has a Drag Race podcast. His girlfriend loves drag and watches all the drag shows, so he's just become a viewer of drag shows, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so he was asking me, why did I think that the show this season has taken such a slide after being so strong? And I went into the whole thing where it was ultimately, and I think it kind of answers your question too, is that World of Wonder just doesn't care. I don't think they'll start making any substantive changes or whatnot. But what you're speaking to is essentially fan exhaustion. And we'll see what happens. Let's see what they do. I don't know if they have anything planned between the end of this and because from what I know, they're not making a big deal about these global seasons, and I haven't heard about any of them or them really promoting them. So it seems like when this is done, for at least until next year, hopefully that we're done with Drag Race for a while. But
I thought they're trying to make a big deal about Japan.
Maybe they are.
I thought Drag Race Japan is like the next new one that I have heard some buzz about. Is
Global All Stars coming back?
I have no idea.
Yeah. So,
well, didn't Global All Stars didn't that happen wasn't it concurrent with the last season?
No, Global All Stars was last year, I think right after All Stars. Or did it start at the same time as All Stars? I don't know. It was like in the summer last year. So, and it went through like the October area. But I haven't heard anything about it. Maybe there is. I don't know if I'm going to cover it. The point is that, to go with what you're saying, ultimately no. But it speaks to my essential answer to Armando, which is World of Wonder doesn't give a shit, because in their brain, they can do whatever, and the audience is always going to be there. And I think that is a mistake that they make. So, but to take their side a little bit, no, because ultimately the audience is going to be there. Hopefully the audience takes a bit of a break from the show so that when it comes back in January, they'll have forgotten. That's the only answer I can give. I actually think that the audience does see it as 2 different products. The All Stars, we have to remember, not everybody has Paramount Plus. All Stars gets a much smaller audience than regular Drag Race. And so the vast majority of fans watch regular Drag Race, and then they go on with their lives for another, 34 weeks or something. And and then there's a smaller amount that they watch All Stars, and then there's, I would say a very small number of people actually keep watching the other shows until it comes back. I don't know if that really answered your question. I don't think it did.
No, it did. I didn't expect you to.
The answer is I don't know.
I'm asking for your opinion.
Yeah, we'll find out. I don't know. I'm thinking there's enough time in between that maybe most of the audience will just be like, oh, here's some new queens.
Yeah.
So we'll find out.
Okay.
All right, well, that's going to do it for this week's episode of RuPaul's Drag Race Recap. Be sure to join us next week and every week as we continue to discuss, dissect, and deconstruct each brand new episode of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars Season 10. So for Taylor the Latte Boy and myself,
Sashay away until next week.
Thank you for listening to Drag Race Recap. Have something to say? Leave us a voicemail at speakpipe.com/afterthoughtmedia. You can also email us at dragracerecap@afterthought.media. For more Drag Race and LGBTQ+ content, support us over at patreon.com/afterthoughtmedia. This podcast was produced by Luke Stamen. You can follow Nathan Brown over on Instagram at NathanBrown90. Follow Joe Batance on Instagram at Joe Batance. Special thanks to these expensive tier Patreon supporters: April Pacheco, Astute Girl, Brad Coley, Coco San Pedro, Derek Byers, Doofus Maximus, E.E. Smith, Efren Barbosa, Phil Skit Pony, Flying Suki, Humble Pie, J. Thomas Plink, Kathy Zender, Katie Whitmire, Lauren Eckert, Lucy Carrasco, Mary S., Mike Yeager, Nikki Baker, Nikki Pettit, Polly Anne-Marie, Poppy Woods, Ricardo Herrera, Runner Brandon, Sarah Yu, Tom Bobbs, Travi Cosmos, and Troy Anderson. Drag Race Recap is an Afterthought Media podcast.